So this is, people don't realize when they have cats that when they let them out and decide, oh, I don't have to clean a litter box if I just let my cats wander around the neighborhood. Well, the cats are into other people's yards and where they shouldn't be. And this Sempervivium, I planted it last year and replanted it several times during the summer last year. And I'm having to replant it again this year. And I don't know exactly what I'll do to keep I've put this stuff down to try to keep them from digging in there, and cats keep digging in there. I don't own any cats, but I get to do the work of cleaning their litter box and fixing my garden and replanting everything. So, I mean, sometimes I don't find the Sempervivium or whatever they dig up in time, and then that's just money out of my pocket. Why? I don't own a cat. This shouldn't be my problem.
You've had to babysit maybe as many as 100.
Yeah.
Unwillingly.
Anyway, so that's that. But I'm talking about the garlic here is what I came over here, and luckily I guess I was checking on the garlic and I noticed the Sempervivium, so I'll be able to replant it without it dying. But yeah, my garlic's up. I've planted that this year to try to discourage the cats, because I figured, well, garlic's a strong smelling thing, maybe they won't like that, so I put that in there. And well, I guess so far not good, but whatever. So this is my messy end of the garden. So
it's the newer end of the garden, that's all.
Yeah, we use it for building a fire and cooking our food in the summer sometimes. Sitting there, that's it. You know, it's not very pretty, and I haven't weeded it yet. Oh, bloom. Well, that's always nice. It's always nice to catch the honeysuckle blooming here, because we don't see that very often. But anyway, so it's the garden. I already planted up the garden, so I have cosmos. And what else? Oh, some squash and Brussels sprouts in here. That's it. Oh, I might have thrown a few corn in there. Anyway, and along the deck here, I put some more cosmos. Under the cosmos here, I put some fingerling potatoes, and we'll see how that works out. And there's some corn there, and I'll need to water it. Just give it a little peek. And these are my cardboard hanging baskets. They're not super attractive yet, but I've put nasturtium in them, and they seem to be doing fine. So they'll eventually cover up the cardboard and ugly fake ivy that I tried to glue on there, and then decided it was a bad idea halfway through the project. So that was that. And I have all my deck plants potted up, and I have a birdhouse that I've hung up there, and I'll be feeding the birds again. I'm a little worried about feeding the birds, because I don't want to encourage birds to come and then get killed by cats, but we'll see how that works out. But anyway, so probably I'll show you the pea pale row, because it turned out really exciting last year, and it's going to be even better this year, I think. But this year I didn't put the nasturtiums along the front of the bales, because they were growing out to like here, and yeah, so that's no good. So we're not doing the nasturtium this year, and we'll see if it still works. Because usually when you plant a pot, like if you watch Melinda Myers, or if you go to any garden center, they do the thriller, filler, spiller technique. So you have something that's upright. So usually it's like Dracaena, and then around it some geraniums, and then some lobelia trailing off around the pot. So that tends to look good though, having some upright thing, some filled thing, and then something falling over the pot. So I don't have the nasturtium this year. We'll see how it works out. But I still have the corn, so that'll be the upright. And I have these wonderful beans that I grew, yard-long beans. I grew them when I was a teenager in my parents' yard. And I saw them and I thought, gee, you know, I would like to grow those again. So I put up this trellis this year, and it'll be yard-long beans up the back. It'll be fantastic. And these Brussels sprouts, like I did try planting. When you garden for a long time, you sort of get the weather in your blood or something. You know when to garden, and so at the beginning of May, I was telling James, you know, I think I could plant my tomatoes and stuff out. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And because really, most people do May long and whatever. And sometimes you even have to wait until June. Sometimes you get, anyway. But I didn't do the floating row cover this year, so I could go even earlier if I did the floating row cover. But I just thought, okay, well, I have lots of tomatoes. I'll plant some of them out and see how they do, and I had lots of Brussels sprouts and this and that, right? So I planted them, and sure enough, they lived. So beginning of May, could have done everything this year, but I didn't. I didn't want to risk killing everything or having, you know, to come out and cover everything all the time and this. So anyway, I didn't. Let's see. Now, this is a Brussels sprout that I just planted today with, like, it was seedlings from in my porch. So that was from the same batch. I had planted the Brussels sprouts, started them as seedlings a long time ago. But that one's just, I've planted it today because one that was there had died. So I'm just filling it in. But this is the size of the Brussels sprouts that I planted the beginning of May. And those started the same time. So I actually got a significant amount of growth just putting the Brussels sprouts out earlier. So, I mean, that's something to make note of, and next year do it, right? So, and I might be able to start them even earlier. So if I start my seedlings earlier and put them out earlier, I could have some awesome Brussels sprouts, because I've never been good at. My dad was amazing at growing Brussels sprouts. Me, not so much. But I put calendula in here, and I put some dill. I planted those two together in the pot. And I planted my corn with my beans and the yard-long beans, and I planted the tomato with the basil, and I just put them straight out, and we'll see how that works out. And yeah, you can see what I've done here is I'm trying the recycled laundry containers for the area between the rows, and you can see it should work really well, better than the bags held by twist ties. So yeah, got her all set up, and I have her set up on the other side too. So doing both sides of the house this year for fun. So let's go back to eating dinner. Oh, I spoiled the surprise. Yes, I made a wonderful dinner. So and I don't look very fancy today because I've been gardening for a few days and I'm really exhausted. I don't have any makeup on. This is just
You're letting the yard look
exhaustion.
fancy.
All natural in the yard exhaustion. So it looks. So here we go. And then I'll try to hide this end of the deck that's really ugly. I haven't done anything with it yet. I'll do something. And in the porch is ugly. Don't go in there. That's where I had all the seedlings, and I still haven't cleaned that up. You know, after the gardening comes the cleaning time, right? And it takes a while. So, and inside the house too, because you've been neglecting the inside of the house, and there, yeah. So these are all my pots I've potted up, and we're planning to spend the day out here. Get the big reveal ready here. Yeah. And there's the dinner. Yay! So if you want to go close to it, and then I guess that's it. Oh, and here's my fish. I took the glass off today so that I could. I put the glass on so that they don't get eaten by cats, and it worked out really well last year. They never got eaten by cats. So that's what I do this year, but I'll remember to put it back on. I just wanted to take it off since I'm going to be sitting right beside them so that I could watch them swimming around while we eat. So I'll write up a list of what all is in the food because I have a lot of ingredients in this meal. It's a super healthy, cancer-fighting kind of meal. But I don't want to go through it all because it would take a long time. Yeah, once somebody asked me, because they'd heard that I was a vegetarian, they asked me, well, what do you eat then? And I've actually gotten similar questions a lot of the time. And I thought, like that's a funny question for me because I was raised veg and it seems strange to me that people aren't, honestly. So
A good answer would be, it's better to ask what I don't eat.
well,
it's meat.
What I thought is you have no idea, what I'm thinking is what don't you eat, right? Because like I eat so many different foods, and especially if you want to learn how to cook vegetarian, get an Indian cookbook. And you'll go through loads of different spices that you'd never heard of before you open that Indian cookbook. And it'll open your eyes to a world of different flavors. So this meal today, as it turns out, is a vegan meal. But that's not to say that we would normally eat a vegan meal, but this is, and it has more ingredients in it than probably what everyone else is eating on this beautiful barbecue holiday, Victoria Day, Monday weekend, whatever. So, because I'm sure a lot of people are out barbecuing today and they're not eating near as many ingredients as we are today. And ours are
They're
fighting
killing themselves even as the beef was killed.
Causing cancer. Yeah. So basically this is our living room in the summer and our dining room. And this is where we spend all of our time, is out on the deck when we're not hiking. So welcome to our life. This is it. It's beautiful and we love it. And it just gets more lush as the plants grow and flower. So I'll probably try to take the time to film it later on so you can see the beauty of it all. Okay, well, that's it.
Bye.